South Dakota Governor Larry Rhoden says he was the last guy in to a crowded Republican primary, but now he believes he's the right person to lead the state. Tonight, Rhoden talks about why he's running, how he leads, and how he's dealing with a wave of attack ads. Here's KTIV's Matt Breen.
Good to be here.
Governor Larry Rhoden says his decision to get into the South Dakota gubernatorial race turned on how he handled a tough special session where lawmakers were deeply split over a new state prison. He says building a two-thirds consensus convinced him he could lead the state.
We couldn't even get a majority vote in the session before, and it required a two-thirds vote. So to get that across the finish line, that was kind of the final step that I knew that I was the right guy for the job.
Rhoden describes his leadership style as inclusive.
I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room, but I am smart enough to put the right people in the room. And so I surround myself in my leadership position, or even now with my team, with people that I trust, that above all else have integrity.
On the campaign trail, Rhoden is also responding to negative ads from opponents and outside groups attacking his record on taxes. He calls them false and says voters see through it.
The amount of dollars, something like $2 million on attack ads going after me specifically, almost entirely and utterly false, just blatant, bald-faced lies.
Rhoden points to his military service, his background in agriculture, and a record of cutting taxes as he asks Republican voters for 4 more years in the governor's office.
I'm the only candidate that served as governor and have a track record of proven results. I just think I'm the best guy to lead our state forward and to bring civility back to the process.
Matt Breen, KTIV News.